Hello traders, welcome to today's video. Tuesday the 30th. I almost said Thursday. It's Tuesday the 30th of July 2024. And here's your Bitcoin update for today. As we all know, there was a pretty big move up over the weekend from Bitcoin with a SFP of those weekend highs yesterday, which then subsequently gave us a pretty decent drop. So in this video, I'm going to be covering the short position that I did take yesterday. So I did take a short position just before New York Open. I managed to get a pretty good entry on that, alerted the crew to it, as I always do with these kind of trades. And it hit exactly the target that we were looking for. So happy with that. And I will also, of course, cover what I am expecting to see as we go in towards the end of the month. And then, of course, with FOMC coming up tomorrow, end of the month coming up, a lot of news factors starting to emerge, and what we can expect to see over the rest of this week, and then as we go into August, which is insane. I can't believe we're already going into August. But anyway, so Bitcoin on the daily, right? So first of all, as with quite often on these streams, we're hanging around the POC. So that's been a common theme for the last couple of weeks. We are just hanging around the POC. So the move up that we had yesterday did come and hit that 69,900 to 70k zone. In fact, on some of the perps exchanges, it was literally just 70k flat. And that's where we got the drop. So price unable to break through those big sell walls at 70k. And then we got a decent drop thereafter. Now, the move down that we have had, first of all, the target for the move down was very simply just to take out the weekend chop that we had. So, of course, we had some chop over the weekend, which was related to the Donald Trump talk at the Bitcoin conference, the new cult leader of Bitcoin and the cult leader of America, you bunch of weirdos. There's just some chop that we had from over there. But also you can see that on the daily, there was a small gap here on the daily time frame, which has now been cleaned up quite nicely yesterday and this morning. And we are now back at that POC area again here. Now, there was a gap on all time frames from the daily downwards, essentially. So as you go onto the 4 hour, okay, you can see that there was this 4 hour gap that was also here, which once again, like you do with the single prints, clean that up. All right, and now we're seeing a bounce. You drop it down onto the 1 hour. There were some gaps here on the 1 hour. Okay, cleaned it up yesterday. This was the first little one. So you had this drop down here, cleaned it up, then continuation. In fact, it was this one that I was looking at. This one right here. Then you go down onto the 30-minute. Okay, single prints, and so on as you go down. So cleaning up a lot of the imbalance that we had left from the move up. Now, of course, there is a little bit more below where price currently is. And that is where we have some confluence as well. So if this is to get more of a move down, if we are to reject here from this point of control, now the POC is slightly different depending on which exchange you're looking at, but it's roughly 67k on almost everything, both spot and on perps. So if this is going to reject this morning and roll over again, then I think it's quite simple where we can be looking at the next level of support, and that is to come down here and fill in this imbalance. And what we have here is the anchored VWAP from when we started to impulse higher. Okay, so we put in the low, we then ranged, and then we started to impulse higher. Right, and then if we draw an anchored VWAP all the way from our all-time highs, then once again, that is coming in around this same area. So the line in the sand really for this to remain bullish at this stage is holding this trend. So we are in an uptrend still, okay? We are still holding these series of higher highs and higher lows. And as long as that does continue, then I do think that this can start to move on towards those new all-time highs. But realistically, you do not want to see it dropping below 65. Because at that stage, you're looking at this almost as being a range deviation. We have that expansion, and now you're looking for continuation of the trend. But you don't really want to be losing this level as such anymore. Now, if I go over onto this chart, once again, this is just showing you the trade that was taken yesterday. So here's my little money shot. All right, that's where price was a little bit earlier on. And as always, I do alert the crew to when these trades are happening. So there's a little snippet here. I'm not going to open up the whole Discord, but you can see yesterday saying gone short here on the SFPF local highs. New York open soon, so we'll see how it goes. Still have those news wicks from last month slightly higher. Now, what actually happened is I took a short where price was, I mean, I'd have to go onto the really low time frames, but essentially we had a little like double tap into those highs yesterday. The first of which was the trade that I took, and then there was one that like ticked above it by a couple of dollars, and then we got more of a move down after that. So it was really insignificant. Okay, there were two little opportunities in which to get in, and just was holding that trade, so that one was really good. Then what I was saying was little take profit here. So this was as we just came down and essentially came back into this 30-minute 1 hour OB, and we were holding this trend line at that stage. So I took profit, a small amount of profit, about a third of the position. But I did say I was looking kind of toppy, and would expect the Trump speech lows to be taken at the very least. Now what happened? Those are the Trump, this is the Trump talk low. All right, you had that chop around the weekend during the Bitcoin conference. Those did indeed get taken, and that is when I subsequently closed almost the majority of the rest of the position. Now, I'm still holding that short. I still have a little bit of it left, just in case we do start to roll over and lose that 65, and then we're looking at just continuing on with these big rotations within the whole range. But yeah, overall, I think that what we've seen has been pretty decent, and as long as this bounce is holding at this stage and we're not losing that 65, then I do think that this can continue to push higher. Now, the other thing, of course, is that monthly level, right? You go onto the monthly, we're very close to the end of the month. It's likely we're going to stay hanging around here. So I'm not expecting major moves either side of that. We have, like 2 days left of this month. There's not a whole lot price action can do in 2 days. Well, there is, but it doesn't happen all that often. All right. So probably more likely than not, we just stay contained around this monthly level within a few percent either side of it. And then what happens when we go into that close on tomorrow evening, Thursday morning, then we can be looking at is that going to be a bullish or bearish sign? Are we going to have a bullish engulfing candle on the monthly? Are we just going to be hanging around it? Is it going to close weak? How's it going to close? That can set us up for a bit of a catalyst as we go on into August. I do these What else is there on this that I want to discuss? If there's to be a move up, then I mean it can happen really quickly. Okay, so we know that the levels of support that we want to be holding. We're in this short position. I have long exposure from lower. This isn't an area that I'm looking to compound. Okay, so I'm not looking to compound on any long positions here. I'm long from the lows. All right, the only place that I would seek to compound is back down here around about that 62. All right, and if this is going to be a case where we lose 65, then I do think a rotation all the way back down towards that 62 to 60K level is very likely at that stage, because that's where, again, if we're looking from monthly to monthly, we have the opportunity for it's not really bullish engulfing, but to close above those previous month opens there on the monthly candles. But then what have we been doing? We've just been trading monthly level to monthly level to monthly level to monthly level. And where is our current monthly open, which is going to become the previous month open? All right, it's down here at 62K. If this is to fail, if we're going to hold around here, that would be the logical next step lower that we're looking to see. And we just continue on with the summer range for a little bit longer. If this is to go higher, it's kind of anyone's guess, right? You would expect this to probably retrace the majority of that move up, because it was such a quick move down. You would expect the same thing, like we've seen with these drops. All right, you retrace the whole move essentially. So as soon as this starts to get back above and change this market structure here, right, we have a bit of a downtrend. As soon as we start to change that, you're expecting the whole move to be taken. But like I say, it's not a place that I'm looking to take any additional long exposure here. I've got longs already open. I'm happy that we're probably going to be going to new all-time highs at some stage. But if this does go all the way back down to 60, 62K, that's the point in which I would look to compound, not where we are right now. Anything else that is interesting on this chart, let's just open up the order flowy stuff. And what we can see from yesterday was it was the vast majority, okay, of the price action that we saw from the move down yesterday was just purpose positions just getting stopped out, liquidated, okay? Overly bullish, right? We did see, and we were discussing this in the live stream yesterday as well. This is why during the live stream yesterday, we were expecting highs to be taken again. So I was live yesterday around about here. I was saying, I'm expecting the highs to be taken, then I want to take a short position. That is precisely what happened. Now, the reason I wanted to see that is because we were seeing an increase in open interest. Okay, but there wasn't anything significant going on with the delta. There wasn't anything too crazy going on. But look what happens is you get this, like as we go into that New York Open yesterday, a big move up in delta. All right, price unable to really break any further, simply stopping out early short positions and then an immediate drop from that point. So I wasn't watching the order flow at all. I don't believe that you really need to watch the order flow at all, because when you understand what price action does, the order flow just follows what it's going to do anyway, right? It's just, if you have the intuition, the order flow is going to do what you think it's going to do. And this is what has happened there, is that you stop out some short positions, you trap some longs, you have a big flush, and that takes away a ton of open interest that had been building throughout the weekend and on Monday morning, hitting exactly the target that we wanted to see. So it's really straightforward, simple stuff. It's just SFB of the highs. What'd you go for? It's the lows. Yeah, it's just really straightforward stuff. Now, if we go over, if there's anything else that we really want to look at, the other thing that this did do, which was quite interesting, was that premium. Okay, because we were getting to a point where spot was starting to get even, like I would say, slightly greedy. And I wouldn't, not necessarily slightly greedy, but I think it was almost a forced move up, that you were losing that premium there on spot. Funding rates, therefore, were, I mean, they've been neutral. It doesn't really mean very much. It's just overall I'm bullish when things are looking like this. But the drop down yesterday was mainly just rec perps and rec leverage before what could quite likely be continuation. We are in an uptrend. As we've got data like this, it would suggest that that uptrend can continue really easily here. So not looking at this as being bearish, as I say, unless we lose that 65k. Now, final little thing, is there anything on XO that I want to go over? Let's just open this up. From a TPO perspective, of course, we do have MPOCs down there at 64,200. Now, I mentioned that on yesterday's stream as being a level of interest, a level of significance. Okay, and it is there. It is something that I could maybe look to take a trade off of if price does come down to that 64,200. But at that stage, as I've said previously, I think that would be a significant sign of weakness, and I think price would struggle to get back up towards these highs again here. The move up, if it does recover, then the volume point of control there at 69,600, time point of control at 69,500. So that zone would be the area, like I say, is if we do start to recover this, you're likely to recover the majority of the entire move down, right? So it would be, expecting, I wouldn't be shorting the golden pocket or anything like that. I would be looking for a move all the way back up towards the top from where the dump started yesterday, then see if maybe some short positions can be taken around here. But overall, these aren't levels that I'd really look to trade there. It's all internal. Okay, as I do quite often mention, I like to trade where there's liquidity. Okay, and yesterday we had liquidity, right? We came down, we took liquidity, and that's generally what I want to be trading. The lows of today don't look particularly good, so that could be, we're putting in a fairly balanced profile, but if there is to be a spike down, I think that could give the opportunity. If you are looking for a scalp long, I think you'd want to see a spike down at this stage in order to get into any long positions. Here, a balanced profile like this is just not a place to open a trade at all. So just don't open a trade around here until you see acceptance outside of this value, and then you can start to target these highs, or if you see a spike below value, and then you can start to trade it, and yeah, you get the idea, right? Let's go back over here. Yes, so just wrap things up on this. We'll go to the 15-minute. Yeah, ideally, two things you're looking for. Either if you want to take a scalp long, if you want to find a long position, you want to spike those lows. All right, there's not a trade to be had here right now. You want to spike the lows and then take it back up towards these highs, which was 69,600. All right, it's the origin of the move. Okay, so although you've got the POC up there, it's just the origin of the move. You're correcting all the imbalance. Alternatively, if the highs from that TPO are there at 67K, so that's breaking through the POC. So if this is to get a move and you see some volume coming in with an increase in open interest, then maybe you can break out long it towards here. But yeah, I think realistically, we're at the point of control. We're at those VWAPs. We're hovering around support here. If you want to build a position with a validation down here, then fine, go for it. I just don't think it's a pretty high probability trade at this stage because we still do have this bit of a downtrend. You either want to get it with some volume, start to catch that momentum as we go higher, or just wait for the spike, like I say, and then trade it back in the opposite direction there. For short positions, there's nothing unless it comes back up to 69,600. Unless, of course, you break a session high, like we've done previously. But when it's internal like this, it's not something that I look to trade. So yeah, I'm going to call it there. I'm going to wrap it up. There's nothing more I really want to discuss. So I will see you all again tomorrow on the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.